I also blow up on the internet because I fought someone. So
just so sick.
Honestly, it is funny. It is funny because
for good reason.
Yeah. Well,
wasn't she?
Yeah. Let me just tell people the story real quick because I don't think I've gotten to really tell my point of view of things.
Yeah.
Is like, you have seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlyn or Cece. Even when I wasn't on her.
Nobody anticipated that the WNBA's toughest player would end up wiping away tears while discussing basketball. However, when Sophie Cunningham attempted to describe what it was like to play next to Caitlin Clark, that is precisely what transpired. After disclosing one astounding fact of Clark's game, the woman who is known for battles, bruises, and never giving up suddenly had her entire family in tears. What then did Cunningham observe that rendered a rival dumbfounded? The response could permanently alter your perception of Clark.
Now let me give y'all a fun fact real quick. Did y'all know that Michael Jordan and Caitlin Clark shoe debut games ended with a loss? Look, just let that set in. Because people want to try to clown Caitlin and be like, oh, this is it. Oh, she tried to show her shoe off, her little shoe off, and she lost. And when Michael Jordan released his first shoe too, he also lost. And I'm saying that to say, y'all do realize this is basketball. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some.
Sophie Cunningham's entire career has been centered around her refusal to give up. She is the competitor who has always defined success by effort before recognition, the teammate who welcomes the physical clashes that others try to avoid, and the player coaches trust when the game becomes awkward.
Been a lot of talk about Caitlin Clark being an amazing shooter and just someone we're watching. Have you spoken to her? Do you know her? What do you think?
I've been watching from afar and understanding just how much of a power she is out there on the court. The cool part is the way that she plays and her range and the level of difficulty on her shots is obviously a very close comparison to the way that I play.
I was going to say Caitlin Clark's been...
Cunningham's response to playing with Caitlin Clark was so significant because she has experienced pressure, expectations, and times when fortitude was the only thing separating success from disaster throughout her basketball career.
I'm seeing Caitlin Clark go at it with a former Big Ten rival, one might say, in J.C. Sheldon, who at one point tells Caitlin Clark, you can't do that. And Clark says back to her, clearly, if you read lips, I can do whatever the F I want, is what she says to her. Second half, you're seeing on the screen here the moment where Caitlin Clark has what appears to be poked eyes from Sheldon guarding her.
Admiration is difficult for someone like Cunningham because she recognizes the distinction between a player who merely looks good and one who transforms the atmosphere of the game.
Is Caitlin Clark the GOAT, greatest of all time, without a title? I mean, duh, yeah. We talked about how great Coach Staley was, right? How authentic she was. What did she say before she left? She gave her an interview after the game, right? Press conference, this and that. And the last he said is Caitlin Curry Clark, if you're out there somewhere. And she said, yo, you are one of our biggest GOATs. You've changed the game. You guys love to talk about Brianna Stewart and how great she was, right? Terrence, you got, who else you got? Maya Moore. All these was phenomenal.
She has played against some of the world's top athletes for years, learning about their advantages and disadvantages and seen personally how challenging it is to compete at the top level of professional basketball. People naturally want to know what caused a player with that kind of background to get emotional when describing another athlete. Since Sophie Cunningham's history explains why her remarks about Clark had such an impact, the story starts with her. Cunningham was just a young child from Columbia, Missouri, growing up in a household where basketball and athletics were commonplace, long before she was recognized as one of the WNBA's most physically demanding and competitive players. She didn't learn about competition till much later in life. From the start, it was a part of her surroundings. It was practically an extension of home, where lessons like self-control, selflessness, and rivalry were acquired organically. The player she finally became at the University of Missouri was shaped by that environment. Cunningham had the mindset of someone who has spent years preparing for a larger platform when he entered college. She became one of the most successful players in program history during her 4 seasons with the Tigers, earning a reputation for her toughness, scoring prowess, and determination to compete in every possession.
Let's call this a Caitlin Clark hater test. You hear sometimes Caitlin Clark is a bust, or Caitlin Clark is Jeremy Lin, or Caitlin Clark is overrated, or Caitlin Clark is a media creation. And then you go to reality. And then you see the reality of those numbers I just showed on the screen. Caitlin Clark has 3 30-point, 10-assist games. The rest of WNBA history has 4 combined. Caitlin Clark is essentially in her 2nd season.
Avoiding challenging situations was never the foundation of her playing style. Cunningham actually appeared to look for them. She fought through physical altercations, accepted defensive assignments against formidable opponents, and cultivated a mindset that made opponents detest seeing her on the opposite side of the court while teammates valued her presence. The Phoenix Mercury selected Cunningham in the 2019 WNBA draft, starting the next phase of a career centered on self-proving. Cunningham's route was more about gaining respect one game at a time, in contrast to those players who go into professional basketball with instant attention and limitless expectations. She wasn't the player in every headline or the league's face when she first arrived. She was the teammate who never backed down from a challenge, the competitor who inspired everyone around her to reach new heights, and the one who infused vitality into challenging circumstances. Although she wasn't always the player getting the most attention, her worth was recognized in locker rooms. Her response to Caitlin Clark was fascinating because of this. It wasn't coming from someone who had only recently become aware of basketball excellence. It came from someone who had witnessed nearly everything the sport has to offer and had spent years surrounded by top athletes.
He shoves Sheldon back, at which point Marina Mabry comes in and just shoves her, like decks her to the ground. And the officials give a tech to Sheldon for poking Clark, and then they give a tech to Clark for shoving Sheldon, and Mabry doesn't get ejected. And then later on in the 4th quarter, Clark buries a 3 over.
The hype around Caitlin Clark, the first overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, was unprecedented in the league. She became one of the most well-known basketball players in the world during her time as a student at the University of Iowa. Additionally, the move to the WNBA raised a lot of expectations. They were not teammates in the conventional sense because Cunningham stayed with Phoenix and Clark joined the Indiana Fever. Professional basketball, however, has a special way of uniting players via practices, games, and many moments away from the spotlight. Beyond the headlines, Cunningham had the chance to learn more about Clark. Basketball fans were already aware with Caitlin Clark's public persona. The player who made long-range three-pointers made defenders wonder if the standard defensive guidelines still applied. The passer had the ability to toss the ball into areas that most players were not even aware were open. As the strain mounted, the competitor appeared to feel more at ease. However, because they witnessed the work behind the performance, colleagues and other professionals perceive a slightly different version of Clark. They witnessed the meticulous attention to detail during sessions, the preparation prior to games, and the unwavering drive to do better even after accomplishing goals that most athletes dedicate their whole lives to pursuing. What gives Cunningham's story its potency is the contrast between the popular perception and the true world. Professional sportsmen are frequently more impressed by what occurs prior to those moments, even when the highlight plays are remarkable.
I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're going to prove her, we're going to show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And like, I get it to a certain extent. And like every rookie comes to the league, that's how you're going to treat them. But there's just more for her. So it's her 2nd year. And like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like actually it's just too much. And like, it's just, I'm over it. And if I'm saying it's too much, then it's probably too much.
The same attributes are often mentioned by players who have played alongside Clark. They discuss her exceptional ability to spot possibilities before others do, her comprehension of spacing, and her capacity to read events before they materialize. A typical bystander responds to the situation. Clark frequently gives the impression that he can predict events seconds in advance. She distributes the ball into the precise spot where the play is about to occur after spotting a teammate starting a movement and a defender moving slightly out of position. Sometimes the opening appears before the player even realizes they made it, making the experience somewhat unsettling for the player receiving the ball. This type of basketball intelligence is challenging to teach since it results from years of game study and incredibly high-level information processing. Experienced players have also been impressed by Caitlin Clark's ability to perform well under duress. She frequently finds an alternative when opponents create targeted tactics to limit her opportunities and defenses become more active. What sets gifted players apart from the exceptional ones is that ability. A rare athlete discovers methods to succeed when everything around them is set up to make success impossible, yet a great athlete can dominate under the right circumstances.
They changed the game, and every they have it. Like this old girl Caitlin had.
Okay, yeah, there it is.
Every barbershop talk, right? That was the real sports conversation, right? From my background, from my culture, right? It's LeBron, it's the Lakers, it's Patrick Mahomes. Nah, it's Caitlin Clark. She's changed the game. I haven't seen no player in basketball other than one dude, and he got 4 championships, and he's one of the GOATs, Steph Curry. I haven't seen nobody like her. And the last thing I'm gonna say is about why she's the GOAT without a championship.
Observing that process up close gave Cunningham a completely new appreciation. She wasn't only observing a well-known athlete do outstanding highlights. She was observing a rival perform at a level that defied her conception of what was feasible. It wasn't simply one specific shot or one outstanding pass that stuck in Cunningham's memory. It was a symbol of something greater. It was the understanding that she was seeing a player whose confidence, inventiveness, and preparedness came together in a way that seemed special. Because memories and feelings don't always fit neatly into words, describing brilliance is frequently more difficult than seeing it. A person is able to recount the specifics of a game, describe the highlights, and explain the statistics. However, there are instances when a moment's actual significance transcends its numerical value. Cunningham had to overcome the obstacle. She wasn't merely attempting to describe a basketball play. She was attempting to convey what it was like to be in close enough proximity to observe something remarkable while fully comprehending the challenges involved in making it happen. And that's why the feelings got so strong. Sadness, disappointment, or dissatisfaction did not characterize the response. It was the kind of feeling that emerges when someone at last finds the right words to express an experience that has been simmering within of them.
Just because she lost that game, that doesn't say that she's not gonna have a great career. She's not gonna be the best WNBA player of all time. She got a great chance to become that. I don't think a lot of you realize, like, y'all think any little thing that happens negatively for Caitlin is like the end of the, WORLD. Like, and it's just like, stop, like, get a grip. It's really kind of like sad at this point, man. But just know, these two have a lot of similarities.
Cunningham was touched because Clark altered her perspective on the potential of the sport she cherished. Seeing another athlete expand what appeared to be a rare moment of admiration for a player who had spent years battling, competing, and making sacrifices to achieve the greatest level. It served as a reminder that even experts may be in awe. Even athletes who are aware of how hard it is to be great might nevertheless experience something truly remarkable. And that's why so many people found resonance in Cunningham's narrative. It demonstrated that brilliance is not solely determined by awards, figures, or records. The response it elicits from those who understand it the best might sometimes reveal its greatest influence. Sophie Cunningham's response also highlighted a significant aspect of Caitlin Clark's impact on others around her since she started playing professionally. Statistics by themselves are never sufficient to inspire true admiration for someone who has competed at the top level. Talented players are seen by professional athletes on a daily basis. They recognize that being exceptional involves more than just athletic prowess, since sustaining excellence calls for self-control, planning, and a mindset that endures long after the thrill fades.
I think It almost robs her of like the rest of her game because she's such a good floor, she has her overall, floor game. She's racking up, close to triple doubles every night, and like her shooting ability is, it's her superpower, but the rest of her game is as polished as that, and so it's must-see TV. And I love what it is done for women's basketball in terms of when she shows up, the seats are filled and there's a different energy.
Many of her contemporaries have been inspired by Clark in this regard. The same player who makes incredible passes in front of thousands of spectators also spends additional time researching opponents, honing minute details, and becoming ready for scenarios that might not even arise during a game. What distinguishes short-term success from long-term brilliance is the effort that goes on behind the scenes. Because she founded her own profession on the same values, Cunningham was able to identify that distinction. She understands what it takes to make sacrifices, to keep getting better without always getting recognition, and to struggle for respect in a cutthroat setting where everyone is trying to gain an advantage. She is aware that while brilliance may lead to opportunities, dedication is what keeps people there. Her emotional reaction carried so much weight because of that viewpoint. Millions of new fans have been interested in women's basketball as a result of the league's increased exposure, bigger viewership, and level of discussion. Many players agree that the sport is benefiting from the greater prominence, even though those developments have sparked complex discussions regarding history and recognition. The significance of this occasion is understood by veteran players who spent years laying the league's foundation. They are aware that development took time and that a number of athletes prior to Clark contributed to the conditions that allowed a player like her to become a worldwide celebrity. However, because of the way she plays the game, many of those same players value what Clark contributes. Her approach encourages future generations to have a different perspective on basketball and embodies creativity and self-assurance.
So what is the WNBA supposed to do when the fan base that follow her want her to be marketed to the max, but she's not your best player? That's a bad situation to be in when the most marketable player and the player with the most fans is not my best player. When Yao Ming was the favorite for every all-star fan vote, where he was getting the number one, that shows that he's their most.
Her seemingly impossible passes, her deep shots that defy conventional notions of range, and her self-assurance at trying times are more than just amusing plays. They stand for a player who has altered perceptions of what is feasible on a basketball court. Being near enough to see that change gave Cunningham an experience she wanted to share with her loved ones. She was not talking about a marketing phenomenon or a famous person. She was talking about a basketball player whose demeanor brought back memories of her initial passion for the game. That may be the most impactful aspect of the whole narrative. The numbers on a scoreboard and the large audiences that attend are not the only indicators of Caitlin Clark's influence. The responses of the athletes who compete with and against her also reveal it. It wasn't a single game or one standout moment that caused Sophie Cunningham to cry. They embody the experience of seeing a unique skill while being fully aware of how challenging that degree of greatness actually is. Moments like this serve as a reminder to viewers that excellence is more than just a player's accomplishments in a sport full of amazing competitors. It also has to do with how they motivate others. And for Cunningham, playing on the same court as Caitlin Clark turned into one of those life-changing moments that demonstrated to her the power of basketball when someone pushes the envelope of what is supposed to be feasible.